They watched you pass every morning without a second thought. They saw the calm walk, the steady breath, the quiet eyes. They labeled you normal, average, forgettable. They thought you were ordinary because you never announced your strength. You never explained your discipline. You never displayed your history. You moved in silence, and silence made them comfortable. Comfort made them careless. They assumed your life was small because your voice was soft. They assumed your past was empty because you never bragged about it. They assumed your future was limited because you never chased attention. And that was their first mistake. Because power that speaks softly usually carries the deepest weight. Because strength that does not beg for recognition is often trained not to need it. And because the most dangerous form of focus is the kind that does not look like focus at all. This journey is not just a story, it is a reminder. If this message reaches something deep inside, you take a moment and stand with it. Like this message if you feel it breathing inside your chest. Subscribe if you know you are becoming someone different from who they expect. Comment if you have ever been underestimated and stayed silent about it. Not for validation, but for connection. Because quiet warriors deserve to find each other even in a world that only celebrates noise. They thought you were ordinary until your movements told a different story. Not loud moves, not dramatic gestures, but precise ones. The way you observe a room before entering. The way your back stays straight when pressure rises. The way you listen more than you speak. These are not habits you learn from comfort. These are patterns carved by discipline. Patterns shaped by systems, routines, and repetition. Military moves are not about violence, they are about control. Control of the body, control of the mind, control of emotion. While others react, you respond. While others panic, you calculate. While others complain, you prepare. And when the moment demands action, you do not freeze, because you have been there before in training, in thought, in discipline. You learned early that attention is not power. Silence is. You learned that energy wasted on proving yourself is energy stolen from building yourself. You learned to wake up when it was uncomfortable to push, when it was inconvenient to stay steady when everything around you shook. That is why your calm unsettles people. That is why your stillness makes noise. Because they sense something they cannot name. They sense structure. They sense readiness. They sense a mind that has been sharpened, not entertained. They see the way you move through chaos like it is familiar, because it is. You have trained your nervous system to stay grounded under pressure. You have taught your breath to slow when fear tries to rush. You have learned that emotions are information, not commands. This is not something you explain to people. This is something they feel when they stand near you. They feel it when conflict enters the space, and you do not flinch. They feel it when plans collapse and you begin to rebuild without drama. They feel it when everyone else looks for a leader, and your presence quietly fills the gap. You never needed a uniform to carry the mindset. The training lives in your posture, in your timing, in your patience. It shows when you wait instead of rushing. It shows when you choose preparation over excitement. It shows when you respect the process more than the outcome. People mistake this for being slow or passive. They think you lack hunger because you are not frantic. They do not understand that hunger with discipline looks calm. Hunger with purpose looks focused. Hunger with training looks controlled. They start noticing when patterns repeat, when pressure rises and you rise with it, when deadlines close in and you become clearer, when conflict sharpens you instead of breaking you. They notice that you do not argue to win. You position yourself to succeed. You do not seek applause, you secure outcomes. And slowly the label of ordinary begins to crack. Confusion replaces comfort. Curiosity replaces dismissal. They start asking questions they never thought to ask. Where did you learn that? How do you stay like this? Why do you never panic? And you still do not answer. Because the truth does not need explanation. The truth is visible. Military moves are about efficiency. Every action has a reason. Every step conserves energy. Every pause has purpose. You do not rush into rooms. You assess. You do not speak to fill silence. You use silence to gather information. You do not react emotionally. You choose strategically. These habits do not come from motivation videos or random inspiration. They come from repetition under pressure. From learning that mistakes cost more than pride. From understanding that discipline is freedom in its purest form. They once thought your kindness meant weakness. They thought your patience meant fear. They thought your humility meant insecurity. But kindness with boundaries is strength. Patience with standards is power. Humility with competence is dangerous in the best way. You let them believe their version of you because it kept your path clear. You let them underestimate because it kept expectations low. And while they were busy projecting, you were building. Every day you trained without applause. You improved without witnesses. You sharpened skills that did not show up on social feeds. Mental endurance, emotional control, strategic thinking, physical readiness. You treated your life like a mission, not a performance. You understood that the real work happens when no one is watching. That is why, when moments arrive that demand leadership courage or clarity, you do not need to become someone else. You simply reveal who you already are. They notice it when emergencies happen, when plans fail, when chaos enters the room. While others look around, you move forward. Not recklessly, not loudly, but decisively. Your actions carry certainty. Your voice carries calm. People listen without knowing why. Authority does not always announce itself. Sometimes it is recognized instinctively. Sometimes it is felt before it is understood. You never told them about the nights you pushed past limits. You never explained the mornings you rose before comfort. You never shared the internal battles you won quietly. Because real strength does not seek sympathy. Real discipline does not seek applause. You learned to rely on yourself, to trust your training, to stand steady even when misunderstood. That is why when respect finally comes, it is different. It is not based on charm or noise. It is based on reliability. They begin to see that you do not waste time on excuses. You do not dwell on setbacks. You adapt, adjust, advance. This mindset confuses people who are used to complaining. It intimidates those who depend on validation. It exposes those who only perform when watched. Because your consistency does not depend on mood. It depends on commitment. You are not driven by anger. You are driven by purpose. You are not fueled by revenge. You are fueled by responsibility. You understand that discipline is an act of self-respect, that showing up prepared is a form of honor, that staying calm under pressure is a skill earned, not gifted. This is why your presence changes environments. This is why standards rise around you. This is why excuses sound louder when you are near. They thought you were ordinary because they judge by surface. They measure by volume. They assume by appearance. But depth never announces itself. Training never boasts. Readiness never begs for attention. And when truth finally reveals itself, it does not need to shout. It simply stands there undeniable. You are not here to impress neighbors. You are here to fulfill potential. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be effective when it matters. You do not move for applause. You move with intention. Every step aligned, every action deliberate, every moment respected. The truth is, you were never ordinary. You were just disciplined enough to look calm. You were just focused enough to look quiet. You were just prepared enough to look unbothered. And that illusion protected your growth. It gave you space, it gave you time, it gave you advantage. Now when they look again, they see it. In the way you carry responsibility, in the way you handle pressure, in the way you lead without forcing, in the way you remain steady while others shake. They see the truth, not because you told them, but because your actions revealed it. Remember this. Let them underestimate. Let them assume. Let them believe what keeps you moving forward. Because when the moment comes, when strength is required, when clarity is demanded, when leadership is needed, you will not need to explain who you are. Your moves will speak, and they will finally understand that ordinary was never your reality. It was only their assumption. And even then, you do not change your rhythm. You do not suddenly raise your voice or alter your posture to convince them. You remain the same, because the same discipline that kept you quiet is the discipline that keeps you grounded. You understand something most people never learn. Real power does not switch on for show. It stays on all the time. It is present in how you wake up, how you prepare, how you treat small tasks with the same respect as big ones. That consistency is what separates trained minds from emotional ones. They start to replay moments in their head, times they mistook your silence for confusion, times they spoke over you assuming you had nothing to add, times they underestimated your ability because you did not advertise it. And suddenly those moments feel heavy. Because now they see what was always there. Awareness, timing, control. You were never lost. You were observing. You were never weak. You were conserving. You were never behind. You were positioning. You learned long ago that ego is a liability, that reacting emotionally gives away leverage, that the loudest person in the room often has the least control. So you trained yourself to stay neutral, to keep your face calm, to keep your voice steady, to let others reveal themselves while you gathered information. This is not manipulation. This is discipline. This is respect for reality. This is understanding that every situation speaks if you are quiet enough to listen. When stress enters, most people rush. They scramble for reassurance. They look outward for answers. But you go inward. You slow your breath. You assess. You prioritize. You move one step at a time. Because you know panic solves nothing. You know chaos feeds on reaction. You know clarity is a weapon, and you have sharpened it patiently. People begin to notice that you do not complain about what is hard. You simply do what is required. You do not dramatize struggle. You normalize effort. This unsettles those who live on excuses. It challenges those who depend on motivation. Because your drive does not come from feeling inspired. It comes from being committed. You show up whether you feel like it or not. You execute whether you are praised or ignored. There is a quiet loneliness in this path. Few understand the weight of constant self-control. Few appreciate the discipline it takes to remain calm when you could react. Few recognize the strength it takes to stay humble when you are capable. But you accept that loneliness because you understand its purpose. It keeps you focused. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you free from distraction. You do not need to announce your background. Your habits reveal it. The way you respect time, the way you plan ahead, the way you prepare for outcomes instead of hoping for them. These are not random traits. These are learned, earned, reinforced over and over again until they become instinct. until discipline becomes identity. They thought you were ordinary because they never looked closely. They were too busy projecting their own limits onto you. They assumed everyone lives by impulse because they do. They assumed everyone avoids discomfort because they do. They assumed everyone needs recognition because they do. And when they finally see the difference, it shakes them, because it forces them to question their own approach to life. You never chased validation because you were building capability. You never wasted energy trying to fit in because you were focused on standing firm. You understood that trends fade, but standards remain. That popularity shifts, but discipline endures. That comfort weakens, but challenge strengthens. So you chose the harder path quietly without complaint. When opportunities arise, you do not rush to grab them. You evaluate. You understand timing. You know when to move and when to wait. This patience frustrates people who act on impulse. They mistake your restraint for hesitation. But restraint is control, and control is strength refined. You respect systems. You trust process. You believe in repetition. While others chase shortcuts, you master fundamentals. While others look for hacks, you build endurance. While others burn out, you sustain. This is why your progress looks slow to those watching from the outside, and why it looks unstoppable once it becomes visible. There is something unmistakable about a person who has trained their mind under pressure. Their eyes do not dart. Their hands do not shake. Their words are chosen carefully. They do not overshare. They do not overreact. They do not overpromise. They deliver. And delivery earns respect, even from those who doubted. You understand that respect is not demanded. It is accumulated. One action at a time. One decision at a time. One moment of integrity under pressure at a time. You never compromise your standards to be liked. You never lower your discipline to be accepted. Because you know that fitting in is temporary, but self-respect is permanent. They see now that your confidence is quiet because it is real. It does not need reinforcement. It does not depend on praise. It does not crumble under criticism. It stands on preparation. It stands on experience. It stands on countless moments where you chose discipline over comfort. You are not intimidating because you try to be. You are intimidating because you are predictable in the best way. People know you will show up. They know you will stay composed. They know you will do what needs to be done. That reliability creates gravity. That gravity creates authority. Even in rest, you are intentional. You recover with purpose. You reflect. You adjust. You do not numb yourself to avoid growth. You face reality directly. You learn from mistakes without letting them define you. You extract lessons and move forward. This emotional maturity is rare, and rarity attracts attention. They thought your routine was boring, your discipline excessive, your standards too high. But now, they see the results. They see the stability. They see the progress. They see the resilience. And they realize that ordinary never builds this kind of foundation. You do not seek revenge on those who doubted you. You do not waste energy proving them wrong. Your existence becomes the proof. Your consistency becomes the answer. Your calm becomes the message. And that is far more powerful than words. You carry yourself with respect because you respect the work it took to become who you are. You honor the effort. You honor the struggle. You honor the discipline. That self-respect shows in every interaction, in how you listen, in how you speak, in how you lead. Leadership for you is not about control. It is about example. You do not demand excellence. You demonstrate it. You do not force discipline. You embody it. People follow, not because they are told to, but because they trust your steadiness, They notice that you do not crumble when plans fail. You pivot, you adapt, you keep moving. You understand that setbacks are part of the process, not signs to quit. That mindset cannot be taught easily. It is forged. And when people finally ask where it came from, you smile quietly. Because the truth is not a single moment or title. It is years of showing up when it was hard, of staying committed when it was lonely, of choosing growth when comfort was tempting. You never needed to look dangerous. You needed to be capable. You never needed to look impressive. You needed to be prepared. You never needed to be loud. You needed to be ready. So let them talk. Let them assume. Let them underestimate. You know who you are. You know what you have built. And when the moment demands clarity, strength, and control, you will not rise to the occasion. You will default to your training, because ordinary people wait for motivation. Disciplined people rely on habits. Ordinary people react. Trained minds respond. Ordinary people seek comfort. You seek readiness. And that is why when your moves finally reveal the truth, it does not shock you. It only confirms what you have always known. You were never ordinary. You were prepared. And preparation changes everything. It changes how you see time, how you value silence, how you respect routine. You no longer rush through days hoping something will happen. You build days so that something must happen. You understand that progress is not accidental. It is engineered, designed, maintained. That is why even on days when nothing dramatic occurs, you still win. Because you kept the standard. You held the line. You stayed aligned. People often misunderstand this level of discipline. They think it removes joy. They think it makes life rigid. But what they do not see is the freedom it creates. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from emotional swings. Freedom from being controlled by circumstances. When you are prepared, you are free. Free to choose. Free to act. Free to remain calm when others collapse. You are not chasing intensity. You are building endurance. You know that intensity burns fast, but endurance lasts. You know that excitement fades, but structure remains. So you invest in what lasts. You invest in habits that compound, in skills that sharpen over time, in mindset that strengthens under pressure. There are moments when people test you without realizing it. Small comments, subtle disrespect, assumptions disguised as jokes. In the past, they expected a reaction. They expected defense or explanation. But now they see something else. You do not react. You do not explain. You simply remain grounded. And that response tells them more than words ever could. Because restraint is power. Because not every challenge deserves engagement. Because not every opinion requires correction. You understand that your energy is valuable. You protect it. You deploy it with intention. This level of self-control unsettles those who are used to emotional access. They begin to sense that you are not easily shaken, that you cannot be pulled into chaos, that you cannot be distracted from your path. And that realization shifts the dynamic. Respect replaces casual dismissal. Caution replaces arrogance. Awareness replaces assumption. You do not need to dominate conversations. Your presence already sets the tone. You do not need to prove intelligence. Your questions reveal it. You do not need to show strength. Your composure demonstrates it. Everything about you communicates readiness. And readiness is rare. Most people live in reaction mode. They wake up responding to demands. They move through life reacting to pressure. They sleep carrying unresolved tension. But you have learned to operate differently. You anticipate, you prepare, you execute, then you recover. Recovery is part of discipline. You do not glorify burnout. You respect your limits because you understand sustainability. You know that long-term strength requires balance. That sharpening the blade also means caring for it. That resilience is built through cycles of stress and rest. They once mistook your boundaries for distance. Now they see them as clarity. You know where you stand. You know what you tolerate. You know what you walk away from. That clarity saves time. It saves energy. It saves you from unnecessary battles. You are not cold. You are focused. You are not distant. You are deliberate. You are not disconnected. You are disciplined. And that discipline allows you to be present when it matters. Fully present, calm, reliable. People start to come to you when things get serious, when decisions matter, when stakes rise. Not because you ask them to, but because your history speaks. Your consistency speaks. Your calm under pressure speaks. You carry responsibility well. You do not complain about it. You do not dramatize it. You accept it. And acceptance is powerful. It transforms burden into purpose. It transforms pressure into clarity. You have learned that fear does not disappear. It is managed, controlled, directed. You do not deny fear. You acknowledge it. Then you move anyway. That courage is quiet. It does not announce itself. It simply acts. They begin to realize that your confidence is not situational. It does not disappear when things go wrong. It does not inflate when things go right. It remains steady because it is built on preparation, not outcomes. You understand that outcomes are temporary. Wins pass, losses teach, but discipline remains. So you invest in what remains. You refine your process. You sharpen your standards. You reinforce your habits. There were times when this path felt invisible, when effort went unnoticed, when progress felt slow. But you trusted the process. You trusted the repetition. You trusted the discipline, and that trust was rewarded. Now, when people look closer, they see the layers. They see the patience behind your actions, the restraint behind your words, the intention behind your silence, and they understand that nothing about you is accidental. You do not chase chaos. You create order. You do not fear uncertainty. You prepare for it. You do not avoid responsibility. You carry it. That is why your presence feels solid, grounded, reliable. They thought you were ordinary because you did not perform. You did not posture. You did not exaggerate. You simply lived by standards. And standards are quiet until they are tested. When tests came, you passed, not because you were lucky, but because you were ready, because you had rehearsed mentally, because you had trained emotionally, because you had conditioned yourself physically and mentally. You have learned that discipline is not punishment. It is protection. Protection from regret, protection from chaos, protection from mediocrity. It guards your future by guiding your present. You are not perfect. You are prepared. You are not fearless. You are controlled. You are not extraordinary by chance. You are built intentionally. And even now, you do not slow down to celebrate recognition. You acknowledge it quietly and continue, because you know the mission is bigger than approval. The path is longer than applause. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Let them adjust their assumptions. You do not need to change your pace. You do not need to explain your past. Your present already tells the story. And as you move forward, remember this. The world often overlooks the disciplined until discipline is required. It ignores the prepared until preparation saves the moment. It underestimates the quiet until quiet becomes command. You are proof that strength does not need to shout, that readiness does not need to threaten, that discipline does not need to display itself loudly. They thought you were ordinary. until your moves revealed the truth. And that truth was never meant to impress. It was meant to endure. And endurance is what separates those who start from those who finish. Anyone can look strong for a moment. Anyone can speak boldly when conditions are easy. But you were built for the long stretch, for the moments when motivation fades and only discipline remains. For the days when nobody is watching and nothing feels rewarding, yet you still show up. That is where your real strength lives. You learned to respect boredom, to work through repetition, to stay sharp even when nothing exciting happens. Because you understand that mastery is not dramatic. It is quiet, relentless, unforgiving to excuses. While others chase stimulation, you chase consistency. While others wait to feel ready, you rely on routine. There is a difference between being confident and being certain. Confidence can waver. Certainty is anchored. Your certainty comes from knowing what you have endured, from remembering the moments you wanted to quit but didn't, from trusting the systems you built when things were calm so they could carry you when things turned chaotic. They see now that you do not rush to celebrate wins. You log them, you learn from them, then you move on. You do not linger in victory because you know comfort is dangerous. Growth requires forward motion, and you are always moving forward even when it looks like you are standing still. Your silence has never been emptiness. It has been processing, planning, refining. You choose words carefully because you understand their weight. You understand that once spoken, they cannot be retrieved. So you speak with intention. And when you do speak, people listen because they know it matters. You are not driven by proving others wrong. You are driven by becoming better than yesterday. That internal competition is relentless but fair. It pushes you without breaking you. It sharpens you without consuming you. And that balance is rare. They begin to realize that you do not seek control over people. You seek control over yourself. And self-control is the highest form of power. Because no one can manipulate what they cannot provoke. No one can distract what is disciplined. You walk through environments without absorbing unnecessary noise. Opinions pass by. Drama fades out. You stay centered, grounded, focused. That calm is not accidental. It is practiced, repeated, earned. There were moments when being underestimated hurt, when being overlooked felt unfair, when being misunderstood felt isolating. But you did not let those moments harden you in the wrong way. They sharpened you. They taught you patience. They taught you resilience. They taught you to rely on substance over recognition. You know that not everyone needs to understand you. You know that not everyone will see your value immediately. And that no longer bothers you, because you are not building for immediate approval. You are building for lasting impact. You respect hierarchy, but you do not worship titles. You respect experience, but you do not fear authority, because your confidence comes from competence, and competence speaks in any room. When tension rises, you do not add to it. You absorb it, you steady it, you bring order. People feel that shift. They may not articulate it, but they feel safer when you are present. Because chaos loses momentum around discipline. You have learned to separate emotion from action. You feel deeply, but you act deliberately. You do not let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. That maturity is forged through experience, not comfort. They once thought your life was simple. Now they understand it is structured. And structure is not limitation. It is leverage. It gives you clarity when others are confused, direction when others are lost, stability when others are overwhelmed. You do not fear hard conversations. You approach them calmly, directly, respectfully. You do not avoid responsibility. You meet it head-on. And that reliability builds trust over time. Trust is the currency you carry. Not hype, not image. Trust. People know where you stand. They know what you will do. They know you will not disappear when things get difficult. You understand that discipline is invisible until it isn't. Until a moment arrives that exposes who prepared and who hoped. And when that moment comes, you do not panic. You execute. You have learned to live with pressure without letting it define you. Pressure becomes information, feedback, fuel. You channel it. You do not let it scatter you. They see now that you do not follow crowds. You study outcomes. You choose paths based on principle, not popularity. That independence sets you apart. You do not need to be feared to be respected. You do not need to be loud to be heard. You do not need to dominate to lead. Your steadiness does the work for you. And even now, you remain humble, because you know there is always more to learn, always more to refine, always another level of discipline to reach. That humility keeps you growing. You are not finished. You are not complete. You are committed, committed to standards, committed to growth, committed to readiness. So let the world continue to misjudge. Let assumptions form and fade. You will keep moving, keep training, keep refining. Because when the next moment arrives that demands strength, clarity, and control, you will not need to rise to it. You will already be there, prepared, focused, unshakable. And being unshakable does not mean being unfeeling. It means you have learned how to feel without losing control. You have learned how to carry weight without letting it bend your spine. You have learned how to absorb impact and remain standing. That is a skill forged through pressure, not comfort, through repetition, not luck. Most people only know themselves when life is easy. You discovered yourself when life applied force, when expectations collapsed, when plans failed, when nobody came to rescue you. That is when your real identity formed. Not in applause, but in endurance. Not in praise, but in persistence. You do not romanticize struggle. You respect it. You understand that struggle reveals truth. It exposes habits. It strips away illusion.